Hello everybody, welcome on in today to My Sweet Home Living. My name is Tracy Campbell. I'm so excited that you are here for today's finale of our project that we've had going on for the last two live videos that we've been working on. And today we're hopefully going to wrap it all up into a beautiful display piece that I think anyone could be proud to display in their home. It is rustic and it is giving us that vintage flair and a little bit of primitive at the same time. So if you love those things, then hop on in here, tell me hello, tell me where you're tuning in from. And if you are new to my page, please let me know. We've had lots and lots of new friends joining us over the last probably 3 or 4 days. And so it's been amazing meeting those of you that are new. And all here, our regulars here at My Sweet Home Living are enjoying meeting new friends and faces here in the comments below. So do let us know where you're tuning in from. Hello, Miss Tally. Hello, Miss Mary. Hello, Karen. So I'm going to start off by showing you some of the pieces that we have been working on the last couple of videos, and then at the here in just a minute, once we get everybody a chance to kind of log on and say hello, Christine from North Carolina, Virginia, and that's Lisa from Virginia. How are you? Hello, Miss Ann and Tina. All right, our first episode we created this vintage Santa hat. Now I have added a little bit of some icy, grungy ice, if you will. And my light is gonna kind of make it a little bit brighter than what it really is. Let's see if I can adjust a little bit right here. This is I don't know if I can show it to you real well or not. It's like a crystally looking, but it's translucent in the fact that it takes on the color that's underneath of it. So it kind of looks like ice and snow crystals. So let me show you what this is. Now I did not flip my camera, hot dog. It is something called grit paste. Let me flip. There we go, there we go. It's grit paste, and this is Tim Holtz brand. Ranger makes this. It's distressed grit paste, but it's called Snowfall, okay? And it's kind of white when you open it. Let me show you, give you a good look. It's white and kind of clumpy, okay? It kind of makes you think of sort of, it's almost like a chunky icing, a little bit with some ice crystals is what it looks like to me. But when it dries, it gives you this clearish, translucent appeal. So I've added that to our hat. Love this hat. We've made it look really rustic. And we added all those dried oranges and dried bay leaves. We've added some berries and some natural little pine cones. And then excuse me, on our last episode, we created some little vintage, primitive style little mittens to go along with this. Now, I only did one of these in the brown, and once I was finished off the live, my daughter said, I think they need to be red. So I was like, okay, well, let's just try a red one and see what we think. So I made a red one. Although I added a little bit too much grunge to it, I added a little bit too much coffee. My lighting is making it the glare. But it's rusty. It looks like Santa's been digging and working in the chimneys, right? Well, you know. But it doesn't quite match his hat well enough. So I'm going to go back with the brown, and we're going to put this together all with a beautiful piece of Barnwood today. So you all hop on in here. I still have to put together this last little mitten, which won't take me 2 seconds. I cut these out of brown paper gift bags, you guys. You could use anything you have. You could use regular, just like copy paper, honestly. I put a layer of Mod Podge with instant coffee, sprinkled some instant coffee, and then I also added some of that grit paste Snowfall right there on it too. It makes it look like it has some little ice crystals on it. Now, the light on this, it's kind of hard to see unless you're probably in person. Let me see if I can get up there. You can see a little bit right there. I have coffee stains all over my hand, you guys. But it has a natural little shine to it without it looking totally blingy. But because I'm not a blingy type person. I have a large piece of Barnwood stretched right across my table here, you guys. And that's what we are going to use to put this all together. Let's put this last little mitten together real quick. I've got all my pieces laying right here. I didn't quite get a chance to put it all together after I was finished last week. So I thought, you know what, we'll just put this together because I'm sure there was probably some of you that missed that live video anyway. So kind of wanted to walk you through those pieces, how to put those together and create that. And they're super easy. Someone had a great idea of tracing an oven mitt And that would be perfect because that's about the size of what these are. Now this idea, you could totally make it to your own scale. If you want to make it smaller, you definitely could. It's definitely doable. And you can use, excuse me, you can use a variety of different materials. So I encourage you to kind of look around and think about what materials you have on hand that you can use to create this same little display. And the star of the show for our Santa hat and our mittens last week is, let me see, did I have a clean one? Yeah, let me show you what this is. In case you missed that, it is the Dollar Tree dust mopping pad. Isn't that cool? We used that, we grunged it up. I showed you how to do that on both of last week's episodes. And this is one that I have applied the coffee grunge to. And kind of gone through with a damp paper towel. Let me show you where my damp paper towel is. I kind of soaked a little paper towel in the coffee grunge. If you all don't know what the coffee grunge is, I've had lots of newbies asking me, what's in your coffee grunge? Well, it's a cup of hot water, a half a cup of instant coffee crystals, and then it's 2 tablespoons of just a cheap imitation vanilla, and then just 2 tablespoons of like a cheap cinnamon. Don't go with your expensive kind, okay? So once I put that on here, I just take a paper towel and I just kind of rub it in and rub it down in those fibers, because this is pretty plush. It's pretty fuzzy, fluffy, and so I just take that paper towel and I just kind of mush it down in there, and it takes away that super bright white, okay? So if you do a quick comparison, now it's going to be darker when it's wet, okay? So here it is, brand new. Here it is after we've freshly added that coffee grunge. And then if you take a look at this mitten, you can see what it looks like when it dries. It's a little bit lighter than this right here, okay? So once you put it on there, if it's too dark for you, take a paper towel and just squish it with a dry paper towel, and it'll absorb some of that extra out of it for you, okay? So that's a real quick and easy tip. And if it's not as dark as you want it, let it dry and then add some more, okay? It's really easy to work with. I would not suggest dipping it down in because it will get so wet and saturated that you'll be waiting a long time for it to dry. All right, so for that mitten, I just folded it in half, and then I'm cutting it in half again. So I'm cutting it in half, and then that's going to be the top of my mitten, okay? So, and once you do that, you'll have some loose ends that'll kind of come apart. Just take your fingers and just kind of pull those off. It's no harm done there, and you won't even be able to tell that they're missing pieces. Okay, let me shake, because I don't want this to get in anything. All right. And the good thing about that coffee grunge is once you kind of apply it to that, it will, it stiffens those little fibers up to where they're not as fly away-ish. Because once you first get those dust mop pads, you'll have fuzzies flying away around everywhere. But once you apply that coffee grunge, it kind of holds together those fibers a little better, and you don't have nearly as many flyaways. Oh, I about forgot to stuff this, you guys. Got to stuff it. So I did kind of glue it down to that for a second, but I've got this open at the top of this mitten. I need to stuff it. Not a whole lot, but just enough to give it a little bit of dimension, and that way when we hang it here shortly, we will have a little bit of, you know, it won't be so flat. It'll have a little bit more character to it. And let's see, I can't tell if it's going down in there good or not. All right, just a little bit. You might want to stick a little bit down in the thumb. Where'd my fluffer go? And then if anything comes apart seam-wise, you can go back in and touch it up before you secure that fluffing at the top. Okay. Oh, I'm really doing a doozy. Hold on, you guys. I've pulled apart my glue, so I didn't put enough on there. So let's add some more back on there, and we'll stick it together. And this is a super easy project, and really it doesn't take a whole lot to do it. You could make it as simple or as elaborate as you want as well, depending on what kind of materials you probably may already have on hand. And you can deck this out with not a whole lot of supplies. Really, a very budget-friendly project. Hold on, this glue is being stubborn. Okay, I really need to get that stuck together right there without touching it with my fingers. Okay, we're gonna let that stuffing is getting in the way. That's the problem. All right, we're not gonna fret over it too much. I can go in and doctor that up afterwards. Let's just cut the excess off for right now. Oh, come on, hot glue. All right. Let me get this off my finger so I can actually feel what I'm doing here. Now let's stuff this back in here. This has hot glue on it too. Okay. Let that hot glue dry for a second and then stick it back in there. Okay, let's just let that be for a minute. Now we can go ahead and glue the top of this dust mop pad down over the top of our mitten. And I am putting a lot of glue on it. I'm putting glue down the sides over here because that needs to also stick really well. All right, and none of that's going to show. So once you fold it over, that glue is hidden. Glue strings everywhere. How are you? Oh, I'm missing comments. I forgot to turn them back on. Hello, Miss Alicia from Georgia. Welcome. How are you? All right. There we go. That's pretty quick and easy, right? So all I did to embellish it, just like this one, I added a rusty bell and some little moss pieces, okay? I'm not going to do that one with this one today because you see what it looks like and you can embellish it any way you want. All right, let's slide this hot glue gun out of the way for just a minute. And let's slide the star of today's show, this piece of Barnwood. Look at this piece of Barnwood, you guys. Now, what I have done, I have not measured anything. I've just strictly eyeballed it, you guys. So it will all depend on the length of your Barnwood. So here's my Barnwood, okay? Whoop, whoop. All right, so I am going to display it horizontally, okay? So what I'm needing to do is I'm needing to kind of make sure that my piece of wood is wide enough to hold all three of my pieces and it still look okay. That's kind of your guide. If it's too short, you'll know and it'll look really kind of crowded, okay? So I'm hanging this towards you guys so that you can kind of see what I'm going to do here. I'm going to hang these mittens off on the side. I know it's going to be hard for you to see the whole thing, but hang tight with me and you'll see it kind of all come together, and I will give you a full view look here eventually, okay? And then I'm going to take my hat and I'm going to hang it in the center, okay? Kind of offset at a little bit of an angle, all right? Now this is what I have so far. Let me move this out of the way because you're probably wondering, what is that? All right, I'm running out of space here on my table. This is just a piece of muslin material. You all seen me use that to make the Cena hat the other day. It's just a real natural fiber material. It's really inexpensive. I purchased mine at Hobby Lobby. You can get them at most craft and fabric supply stores, okay? I do think the quality of muslin material that they have at Joann's is slightly different. I've not been real happy with what they have there. But Hobby Lobby, I love it. It's it kind of has a roughness to it a little bit. It's not like soft like a silk or anything like that, but it's just a solid color. So I've cut one out almost the length of my piece of Barnwood. It's probably about 10 inches shorter than my Barnwood piece, okay? That's just rough guess, okay? So I cut it out, kind of got the width of it, and what I did is I've dovetailed the ends, okay? I put it together and dovetailed the ends. And this is going to kind of create a little bit of a banner that goes at the top. hang with me. Lots of little components. I want you all to see how it goes together. So this is going to work along with, I have some, just some real simple looking greenery, nothing real frilly or fancy, because I want this to look more like a vintage or like a primitive style piece, okay? So I didn't want anything super bright. I wanted my greenery to look real earthy, and kind of a darkish green, if you will. I don't know how to really explain it. And I can kind of show you a comparison. But this is just real earthy looking. It's a little bit shinier than what I would typically use, I will say that. But I think it would hold up fine outdoors if you use it for something outdoors. But let me hold this up in comparison to one of the other pieces that I grabbed. Okay, so like this is, these are from Hobby Lobby, by the way. This is just like a pine, okay? Just a real simple pine. And you could get away with doing, you know, whatever you feel like. I mean, honestly, there's really no right or wrong way to do it. It's just whatever look you're going for. And I kind of wanted a more simple, old world style, and I feel like this kind of fit it a little bit more than this. So let me put these two together to kind of make a little swag, and you can kind of compare the style that I'm kind of looking for. So this versus this, I like this a little bit. It looks a little more woodsy maybe. Will this be on a table? It will be hung on a wall, Valerie. It will be hung on a wall. A very big wall piece, okay? So what I'm going to do with this, you know, I didn't think this through. I wanted to put this at the top, and I'm not sure if I have enough of these. I may have to intertwine a little bit of my other greenery with it. Let's see. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. And then I kind of wanted this banner. I'm kind of showing you, talking you through it, and then you guys can kind of help me with some ideas here. I'm going to put this as a banner that goes across the top, and I'm going to kind of weave it and wave it through here, if you will, okay? I want this to look like a banner, and so at the top of this, I could put something like Merry Christmas, or I could put Joy, or Noel. I don't know. Something, it doesn't have to be anything super fancy, but since it is going to have some waves and some kinks to it, I probably need to keep it somewhat simple, you know, because too many letters is probably going to get hidden in the wrinkles and the creases. So, okay, then, well, let me stick that right back there. And then before I'm finished, I have these little tea light candles, you guys, just the little dollar store cheapies. Now, I'm really wanting to invest in some battery timer type or little tea light candles, but these are not on a timer, okay? These are just the Dollar Tree cheapies, okay? I am going to invest in me some timer operated ones, but I'm going to place these along the top. This is going to be hard to do, so let's just kind of start whipping it together, and then you guys can see how it unfolds. But this basically is going to go along the top. I'm not going to be able to hold it up and show you kind of what I'm talking about until we start putting it all together, I don't think. All right, so this is going to go along the top piece of our Barnwood, which is going to kind of help to illuminate the little banner. So we say, we'll see, we'll see. All right, let's put this grunge over there out of the way, because I have a feeling I'm going to knock that off, and I do not want to do that. All right, so real quick, what I did to treat my Barnwood, all I did is I took a cheapy chip brush, and I applied a layer of coffee grunge over my piece of Barnwood, and that's going to give it an amazing smell. Oh, thank you, Miss Tricia. It's a big project, but there's nothing hard about it. There's just lots of components, but once you put it together, you'll be like, whoo, that was worth it. It's worth it. I should have brought me some little finishing nails, and I did not grab any. Okay, so let's go ahead first, and let's put the Santa hat on. Now, I kind of had to get creative here, if you will, or I don't know what you want to call it, but I had to come up with an idea to hang these without, like, this is so thick at the top, I didn't want to put a nail. I had originally thought about using like a rusty nail. Thank you for the stars, you guys. I appreciate you. Hey, Miss Mary. It's hard not to fall. Oh, I know it is. It's just a style. It's just warming. I don't know what else to say. And I think everybody can relate to times of the past. I mean, even though we may not decorate in a primitive style, but I think we all can kind of have a warm and fuzzy feeling when we think about things from the past. And so I think that's why I love primitive style. Thank you, Miss Jo. So what I had to do is come up with a way to hang it from the back. So you know those little gift bags that I was using to make the little mittens? You know, these little brown paper sacks that I had laying around forever and I just needed to use them up. Well, to make the mittens, I used these, okay? But I took the hangers off and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to use that on the back of these mittens and on the back of this hat to make a little hanger for it. I think it's going to work. We'll see. We'll see. But I think I could just glue that on the back and I could have a little self-made hanger right there. Now, how are we going to get it hung to the board? You could use some rusty nails. I chose not to. Just because. I don't know. I was afraid if I started hammering into this piece of Barnwood, I was afraid it was going to split it, and I thought, I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do, and I shouldn't have put my grunge away yet because I'm not quite finished with it. I've got these like wooden doll pin, clothespin things. I grabbed these at Hobby Lobby. All I'm going to do is take my coffee grunge, and I don't know how well this will stain these, but we're going to try it. And if I don't like it, then I can always paint them later, okay? But I think this will kind of work. We'll just kind of stain these up and let them dry, and we'll use these as a little hanger. All right, I've got that paper towel under there, but it's going to soak through that paper towel. So let me slide this over. I probably should just dip it down in there. That would probably work just as quick. But I'm just going to paint that on, that grunge. And many of you kind of asked me about the coffee grunge, how it's slimy or goopy, and you think something may be wrong with it. That is the nature of the coffee grunge, and that's what helps it stick to your surface, okay? So you see how kind of blotchy that is? That's going to kind of soak in, and it's going to give you that variation in color that we want. I had to reach for my dry hair got pushed way over. So just kind of let that dry, and that will dry lighter than it looks when it's, you know, when it's wet it's pretty dark, but when it dries it will lighten up a little bit. So I'm going to glue these to my Barnwood, and then those little hooks that I put on the back are going to slide right down in that little slot, okay? So we're kind of keeping it all natural looking with the wood, okay? And I think it'll work out, and if not, then I'll just go back to my little nail idea, or maybe use some little screws. Just pre-drill some holes with before I put my screws in, and that might help prevent it from splitting as well. Okay, so I'm going to need 3 of these little pins, these little clothespins, wooden clothespins. So let me paint or stain one more with this grunge. Guys, this coffee grunge can be used on so many things. Now, I will say, when you let it dry, the cinnamon will get a little powdery, and it can flake off. So if you have a bunch of excess cinnamon on there, you can take a little paintbrush or a little dry brush and just brush off the excess. Or what you can do is take a spray sealer and just go over it with a light spraying of spray sealer, and that will kind of hold it in place a little bit better. Or you can also use a layer of Mod Podge, okay? So there's several options there. Let's see what you got. Will the grunge work on a Dollar Tree plastic tile? I don't think so, and here's the reason why. It kind of has to have something to soak into. It kind of has to have something porous that will absorb it, if you will. So wood, paper, fabric. We have used it on glass, but here's how we got it to work. And you may be able to do this same idea with the tile. If you coat it with a coating of like chalk paint first, then go over it with the grunge, that chalk paint has some absorbency to it, and it will kind of hold that grunge on there until it dries a little bit. And we did that. Let me show you if I can grab it back here. Oh, I feel like I'm doing acrobatics today. This glass bottle, this was a Starbucks glass bottle that we repurposed. Now, it's glass, of course, but I gave it a coating of the white chalk paint first. Then what I did is I went over it with some Mod Podge and mixed in with a little bit of instant coffee, and it kind of gave us that same look without using the grunge. The grunge is a lot more liquidy. If you want something to stick to it, I would go with Mod Podge as your base. Put the Mod Podge, mix in a little bit of instant coffee and sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon, and that can give you your coating, okay? Just know that it will dry clear, okay? That Mod Podge will, and whatever it leaves behind will be the grunge, which over this was white. So under this was white, rather. I just went over top of it with the grunge, or with the instant coffee and Mod Podge. I'll spit it out here in a second. Oh, how are you? Hello, Trisha from North Carolina. Welcome. All right, I'm just drying these little pins real quick. I think they're pretty much dry. This one might be a little damp, but that's okay. So let me show you what they look like. You can see that cinnamon is kind of clumpy. That's okay. I like it like that. If you don't like it like that, take a little brush and just kind of brush off the excess, okay? And you can go over and give it another coating if you want to make them even darker, all right? Now, I would probably spray this with a little bit of sealer just to kind of seal that Mod Podge in place, or cinnamon in place. All right. Now, I should have, the one time I probably would have measured would have been right now, because I want to find the center of my board. So let's see if I can, let's see if I can use my banner here and see if I can't figure out the center. I'm eyeballing it so that I kind of have equal distance on each end of my banner. And then I'm going to fold this banner in half. So I'm going to say right here is going to be my center point. Whether it is or not, we're going for it. I'm taking my little doll pin, my little wooden doll pin. Those are from Hobby Lobby, by the way, if I don't remember if I mentioned that or not. Let me grab another glue stick as well. And we have longer than 45 minutes today, you guys, because our next presenter, Miss Nicole from Cowgirls and Spurs, she was going to be up next over on the Craft on the Clock group, and she had to cancel at the last minute today. So we actually have a little bit more time than usual. So we'll have quite a bit of time to finish this, which is nice. All right, so I kind of already lost my spot. There we go. Now my Barnwood piece, and you all know, is Barnwood pieces are like snowflakes. No two pieces are the same. So some of them may have a little bit of warping to them. Some may be have rough ends and straight ends. You know, you never know. This one has some good nail holes in it, but it is warped a little bit. Whereas meaning my little clothespin is not going to sit straight or flush flat. So I do know it's going to fit at the bottom and at the top really well. So that's where I focus on putting my hot glue in. All right. So now let's go ahead and let's do the other piece. Let's see. How far apart do we want these? Let's lay this hat here. I'm going to kind of eyeball it. I think my hat's going to hang right here. And let's see. My little mitten. Let me slide this over so you guys can see a little bit as I'm working. This one... I want, actually, I don't know which one I want. Do I like the thumb pointing out, or do I like the thumb pointing in? I think I like it that way. Okay, so this one will be the one that goes here, and I still have to embellish this one with a little bell. So I'm going to eyeball this one, and I'm going to say it's probably going to go right about there. So let's get our next little wooden pin. Let's move this little banner out of the way now, because it served its purpose for right now until we get ready to decorate it up. All right, so that one is going to go about right there. Okay, making sure I get it even from the top to the bottom as well. And I would probably go back with under this and put a little a little bit sturdier of a glue, like an E6000 or oh, what is that one that I use all the time? I can't remember what it's called. Quick and thick, stick and thick, I don't know. So something like that. I've got 2 bottles of it. I can never remember what it's called. But it's more of a permanent style glue, okay? So for temporary gestures right now, we're going with the hot glue. Because I do need it to dry so we can get on with the show today. All right, those little fuzzies from that mop, they're everywhere. All right. Now this one, let's eyeball this one and see. We're gonna, nothing like eyeball measuring, is there? I'm looking at this other end down here to kind of see, judge my distance. My Barnwood piece is pretty long. I should have measured it, kind of give you an idea of how long it is. Didn't think about doing that today. I did go ahead and put, I may have already told you this, a coating of the coffee grunge on my Barnwood, so it kind of soaks it in. And so I do have a little bit of a powdery cinnamon residue, so what I will do is I will spray this. Once I'm finished, I'll take this off, but just leave the wood pieces and just do a real quick coat of like a real matte sealer, and that'll kind of hold that cinnamon in place, okay? All right, now, this is what we have so far. All right, simple, we just have 3 pegs on our wooden board right here. Now, I don't know, I should have brought my little finishing nails or little screws or something to go at the top. I don't know how else I'm going to glue this this greenery on. I'll spit it out here in a second. My words are just getting lost today. All right, so let me hold this up. What I might do, I need some substance up here at the top because that's how I'm going to secure my banner. So I kind of have to have this up here. So I think what I'll do for now is I'm going to just hot glue it and we'll see what we can get away with. We'll see if we can get away with it. Let me make sure that this branch, the stick, is good and straight and lays right in the crease of my Barnwood here. Where's that third hand when you need it? So I'm just laying on that hot glue really thick at the top, and then I'm going to stick the pick part of this right down in that hot glue and let it sit. I am going to hold it because I want to make sure it gets cooled and sticks real good and flush to the Barnwood, if you will. Yes, someone's asking where do I get the pictures, the printable downloads. The shop, the designer that I use most frequently for those is the Chocolate Rabbit from Etsy. Yep. If you just go to Etsy and search the Chocolate Rabbit and make sure you're searching for an actual shop, it will turn up and you'll see. Their designs are so cute. I don't know if you can see this little can right here. That's an oatmeal can that we repurposed with some printable labels. And yes, that little milk jug, or that milk, yes, right there, that little milk glass that I just showed you, it has the one of the little printable labels that's on there as well. I think that's all that I have close by that I can grab. I'm looking in the background to see if I have anything else. I don't think I do. But I love, love, love her designs. They're so, so pretty. Okay, and you can use them as many times as you want. That is still pretty wet and hot, so I'm going to hold on to it for a minute. But, you know, you can print them and you reuse them as many times as you want. You can enlarge them, you can shrink them, and then, I forgot what else I was, oh, and when you buy like a set of them, it comes with like, more times than not, it comes with like a set of 3 or 4, sometimes even more different designs in a set, and I just love them. I think they're the prettiest printables I've ever come across. All right, so I'm eyeballing this to see if, all right, I'm going to glue this one kind of right here. You guys can kind of see how I'm putting this together. Let's get this last piece put on here, and that way it can go ahead and start drying. And then I think I'll be able to let go of it long enough to where we can work on the banner and then secure everything else down. Because I think I'm going to put the, I'm going to have to put the the hat and the mittens on last because I'm going to have to hold those up for you. I should have like a little easel or something I could put this on, but this thing is so big. And that's what I was talking about. You can make it to scale. You can make it as small as you want. Hey, Miss Stephanie from the Vintage Pebble and Miss Pat from Unique. Thank you all so much. By the way, while I'm thinking about it, this weekend we have an amazing event coming up, you guys. It's my favorite event of all times. It's the Christmas special for our Vintage and Thrifted DIY Marathon. And it is Saturday. We start at 7 a.m. all the way to 11 p.m. Central Time. And it's over in my Facebook group. It's called All Things Vintage and Thrifted, the group is. And you guys, by the way, can post your photos in that group. If you make things that that you've seen here on my page, and you make things, you want to share your photos, you can share your photos over in that group too. So, but it's going to be all day long. Everything vintage and thrifted, rustic, things that are primitive, things that are family heirlooms that are going to be repurposed or made over, or oh, it's like the best day ever. It is. So you guys are going to have to come check it out on Saturday. We have some amazing presenters coming up that day. Now, this is still a little tacky, but I think we're good to let it go, just as long as I don't touch it. All right. Now, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take this and kind of fluff this up a little bit, because I kind of want these pieces to kind of fill in some of this empty space. I can't remember if I got more than 2 of these or not. I don't think I did, because these little picks I think were a little bit more expensive than the, I just took that one right off. These were a little bit more expensive than the other picks that I saw at Hobby Lobby. So if we get desperate enough, we might have to mix in a little bit of that other pine greenery with it. Okay, let me peel this hot glue off my finger. All right, let's see. We got a stamp on our banner. So let's see here. Let me slide this over. I forgot to grab my stamp pad, you guys. Let me grab my stamp pad. It is in this drawer right over here to the side of me, so hang on. I was not prepared to use my stamper. I don't use my stamper very often at all. So, stamper, where are you? It's like digging in the treasure box over here, or the toy chest rather. Okay, we got it. We're here. Okay. Now, I overfilled my inker, my stamp pad, when I filled it up. Hey, Miss Sheila from Sweetie's Creations. The dashing glue. Hey, Miss Christy, how are you? Don't forget the glue on your... Yes, we're going to glue on those candles. You're right. Thank you. Who was that? Was that Miss JoJo? Oh, I'm losing it. I think that may have been Miss JoJo. If so, I'm so glad to see you. I hope you're doing well. I know you've been sick, so I've been praying for you. My ink pad, you guys, I was like a newbie at ink pads, and like I refilled this thing and I overfilled it, and my ink overflows in it, so it makes a ginormous mess anytime I want to use it. So it's kind of like one of those things. Don't do everything I do the way I do it. Because that is dangerous. I totally need some gloves, but I don't. Okay, anyway, this might be a real hot mess. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, I have some stampers, and I think I could use the word Merry, or I could just make the word Christmas. I think I'm just going to put the word Christmas for right now. And I kind of have these little stamps, these little clear stamps, and I'm putting them on my little clear sheet here so I can... I'm just a basket case today. Anyway, I'm going to stamp this on, but I don't think I'm going to put Merry. I think I'm just going to put Christmas on here. Let me eyeball this. I need a table that's like 5 times bigger than what I got. I'm working on a teeny tiny table, which sometimes that helps me not to like keep bringing more mess to the table, but Sheesh, that's a lot today. All right, I think I'm gonna center it. Can you guys see what I'm doing? I've got the word Christmas down here at the bottom, and I think I'm gonna center it. Of course, I need another S right here on the end. Let's see, I wanna make sure that I get the center point of this banner, by the way. Now, I don't remember if I told you guys, this banner is a piece of muslin that I cut down to the size, just a random size that kind of fit my size of my board a little bit smaller. And I put the coffee grunge mix on it, okay? Let it dry, and then what I did next, which I don't see where it, oh, I just sprayed over it with a light coating of the Mod Podge sealer to kind of seal that cinnamon on there a little bit, okay? So right here is my center point of this banner. So let's see. I need like the center point of my word. Let's see, the S is going to be the center point, and then I'll have to put another S on the end. Okay, so I think I'm going to scoot this C down a little bit. So just eyeball it. If you don't have any stamps, you could totally omit this step, okay? You can totally cut this step out. This is not looking right. Let me get this C. And I'm okay if they're a little offset because I think that kind of gives it some character, but I don't want it completely crazy on me. Now I'm just going to take my ink pad and I'm going to ink up these letters. And then once I get that finished, I'll need to do the S. Because Christmas already has an S in the middle of it, I have to take it off and put it at the end as well. Okay. Now, the S in my Christmas has to go over my middle line right there. I kind of have a little crease in my banner, so I kind of know where the middle is. And I want to make sure that it's not running sideways. Crooked, whatever you want to say. Lopsided. You know what I mean. Okay. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to kind of press it down. I don't know how it's going to turn out, you guys. I don't use stamps a whole lot. I'm just going to take my finger. I'm keeping one hand on my clear sheet because I want to make sure that it holds it in place while I run my fingers over the lines of each letter. Okay. Hold my breath. I'm not going to take it completely off. I'm going to peel it up. Hey, Miss Deanie, how are you, sweet friend? Ooh, I like it. Oh, it's not quite dark enough, though. Let me see. All right, can you guys see that at all? You might have to swipe it or sync your comments. It's a little bit faded in the middle. Let me see. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm going to apply it one more time. It kind of gives you that faded look. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, I'm going to go over this one more time. And since I have this clear backing sheet, I think I'll be able to line it up just fine. I do like the faded look, but I need it just a tiny bit darker, I think. Okay. Let's see about lining this right back up on here. Very carefully, holding my breath. I think that's it. Commit. We did it. We did it. Thank you. I appreciate it. That is Miss JoJo from the Hot Mess Express. I'm so glad to see you. Miss Yvonne from Southern Designs and Finds. Sorry I have not had my eyes on the comments quite as much to see you all's here. Blue Canyon Creations by Chandra. Awesome name. You know, I do not know. I think these are an IOD brand stamp, but I can't make any promises. I think these may be a retired design. I purchased these secondhand from another lady in my local area that was kind of de-stashing some of her craft supplies. And so I kind of bought them from her. She had tons of them. So I just thought, oh, I can always use letters, alphabet letters, even though this is probably the first time I've used these. So I'm putting them to use finally, but I bought them secondhand. Okay, now I just took that S off and I'm just eyeballing it. It'll be close enough. And I'm gonna press that down with some gentle pressure. I don't wanna press down real hard. Just enough to make contact and kind of slightly press. Lift straight up. Ooh, I love it. I love it. Okay, let me show you. Is that not cool? It gives you those vintage vibes, right? Now, you know what I could do? I could take like a Sharpie and write like the word Mary up here above it, like a little script. That would be pretty. Or if I have a transfer or something that has the word Mary, I could do that as well. You know, I may actually have another stamp that has the word Mary that I could put in the top center of that, and that would kind of tie it all together, I think. All right, let's put the top on this ink pad before I make a big boo-boo. I'm good at making big boo-boos. All right, let's pull this up here. I'm gonna go ahead and I think I'm gonna go ahead and glue. I probably should go ahead and glue my candles on. What do you think? So before I glue those candles on, I probably need to put a little bit of this, what is this, Spanish moss? I don't know, messy moss, more like it. But once I get it on there, it won't be as bad. It's just the getting it out of the bag and getting it on is the worst part. Okay. Because I kind of need to hide this ugly part right here. So what I'll do is I'll take one of these little candles. Now keep in mind that I need the back of this flush. So my little candles are a little bit wider. Let me show you. A little bit wider than the top of my board. So I'm going to have to, it's going to be hanging over a little bit. You see, and I'll probably have to go back and paint the bottom of those. But I need to for sure make sure that the little switch, the little on and off switch, if yours don't have a timer, I need to make sure that that is definitely where I can access it. Now this, you don't want to put like a ton, just enough to hold it there, because if you ever have to replace the batteries, you want to be able to just pull it off. And if you use hot glue, you should be able to do that no problem. You know, hot glue will hold it in place until you're ready to pull it off. It kind of peels right off. So that's the good thing about that. I don't know if I put my glue in the right spot. Okay. Do that one more time there. I'm putting one in the center, and then I'm going to put one on each end. Okay, kind of right above each little hanger probably. Now all I've done with these little tea lights, they're just the cheapy tea lights from the Dollar Tree. I am going to invest in some timer ones. But for now, it's my temporary fix. All I've done is taken some Mod Podge and sprinkled them with cinnamon and given them a spray coating of sealer, okay, on top, and that holds that cinnamon in place, okay? All right, now let's go down, and we're gonna put one right over here. So I've got 3 of them ready. Let's see, make sure they all work. Okay, that one works. I need to make sure that my little switch is facing the outside. Let's glue this one on. And this hot glue, it will also peel off of, you know, from the surface of your wood too. If you really want to remove it, it'll peel off pretty easy. Hello, Miss Jane. Hey, Miss Cindy, how are you? So excited to see all of you all on here today. I will be back on a Wednesday. I think it's morning. I think it's Wednesday morning. So, and then of course I'll be on here Saturday morning for the Vintage and Thrifted Marathon, the Christmas special. So excited about that. I think my time is at 10 or 10:30. Gosh, I've got so many times crammed up in my head, I get them all confused. But it's 10 or 10:30 Central is when I'll be live on Saturday as well for that. You won't want to miss that. It's an all-day event, you guys. We have some very talented creators that are coming live in that event as well. All right, so show you what I've got here. And I will need to go and paint the bottom of these. Okay, or you could put a little bit of Spanish moss underneath of them. That might hide it too. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. All right. Now, let's put a little bit of Spanish moss up here at the top to hide this part of our greenery. The ugly part we're just gonna stuff some of that Spanish moss. Ooh, tickle my nose. We're gonna hide that. Yo, that's hot. Gosh, dog it. Ah, I need another hand. There we go. Okay, we got it, we got it. That's good. Now we'll stuff some more. I need something to prop this up on. That's what I need. That's what I need. All right, sticking the Spanish moss in there, like so. Let me pick up that glue gun before it gets hot glue on the floor. That would be another disaster, right? I think for right now, I'm just gonna kind of tuck this in there. Yeah, I like that. That kind of helps fill up that empty spot too. And I mean, some of it's gonna be hidden with the banner, and that's okay. But at the same time, if it's not, then I want to make sure that it's covered. All right. Sorry, I think that's hitting my microphone, you guys. All right, so that makes it look a little earthy as well. Now, we still got that center part. Let me give you a good look. This is our little display board that we're putting together. Now, hey, Gracie, can you bring me that Hobby Lobby sack that's kind of right here in the front corner?
Which one?
Right there, the one that's got all the green stuff in it. Shoo, that blistered my, I think that might blister my hand, you guys. Here.
I can't.
Oh, is it underneath something?
Yeah, and if I move this chair, it moves your camera.
Oh, it's under the chair?
Yeah.
All right, do you see any more little picks that look like this in there?
Yes.
Let's try that one. We might put that one in the center. I think that'll work. I think that'll work.
Is that all you need?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like you need another one on the other side.
I'm putting one in the center.
Oh, center.
Yeah. And then we're gonna have a little banner at the top. So well, not a lot of the greenery is actually gonna show a whole lot. It will some. Okay. Now, this is gonna go right here in the center. Let's turn this around. This has some little pine cones. It has a few little pip berries in it too, which is kind of cute. Let's pull these down. I'm just gonna fluff this up a little bit. This even has some little, I don't know what you want to call those, little tendrils that are curly cued out. They're so cute. All right, let's glue that down. Maybe. Feels like it's pretty tight in there. Not gonna burn my hand this time. Not gonna burn my hand this time. They're easy to click off. The hat will cover the bottom. No, I think you'll see how it's gonna hang. It's gonna hang. Hang with me. Hang with me. We're almost there. We're almost to the finishing touch. We've got to get this banner on here. So let me lay this down for a minute. The banner, if it's too big, I can cut it down a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of pinch it a little bit. I'm going to kind of pinch plate it to where these little feathered, the little dovetails kind of pucker out at the end. And all I'm going to do is take my, I'm going to take a little strand of this greenery and kind of twist it around. I should have brought my little floral wire, but that's okay. We can make it work. Now I'm going to weave this through somewhat. It's kind of hard to do looking at it from this angle. I have to slide it down a little bit. I kind of like that little pick in the center. All right, now we're gonna tuck this one in over here, and then we can kind of fuss with it a little bit. I kind of like some of this greenery kind of hanging down. I don't need the moss necessarily hanging down. Okay. I want to make sure my little candles are going to show, so I'll tuck my little banner kind of in behind those so that those candles show up. Okay, let's hold it up and let's get a front view. I can tell this needs to be tucked more towards the back. That little candle's getting hidden. Okay, I need to fuss with that a little bit. It might be that I kind of need to maybe drape this downward. I don't know. What do you think? Let's see. Let's try that. Hey, I like that. I like that just as well. Now that little middle candle is not going to get seen quite as well, but I think we can work with it. Let's see what we got. I don't know, I kind of like that, but I still kind of need to fuss with it a little bit, especially at the ends. Kind of need to work on those a little bit, but you get the idea, right? Yes. Now, for the gloves, I'm taking just a little gift bag hanger. You guys, you all can improvise and find any way you can to hang these. You could just glue a strand of twine to the back of these and make a hanger just as easily. I just already have these little gift bag hangers, and I thought, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and use them. I think they'll work out just fine. I don't know how low or how high I want to hang those, but let's test one out. Okay, so I put that on the back, and then that's going to go over my little wooden doll hanger, whatever those things are called. Okay, so let me pick this up and show you one piece that we've got on so far. All right, now I see that that's hanging backwards, but if it's flush against the wall, it's gonna look like that. All right, so let's go on. I could put just a little dab of glue on that wood bead right there and just stick that on there too. Okay, let's go ahead and let's do the other mitten. And then we'll do the hat last. All right, I love this mitten. I embellished it with a little berry. It's got the little icicle crystals on there. Some little moss. Let's put the glue on here. And to think that these were made out of a dust mop pad and a gift bag, you guys. Are they not the cutest? Okay. Glue that on. So we're going to hang this one over this hanger. Okay. And let's see. The good thing about that doll hanger and that thickness of that string, or that thickness of that loop, is that I can kind of judge how high or low I want it to slide down in to that clothespin. I need one more little hanger. Here it is. I was like, it's hiding somewhere. Okay, now this is going to be our last piece. Now this one might be a little bit more of a challenge to hang. And you might be better off like stitching a piece of a loop or something right there in the center of this one. Because this one, I'm not going to be able to glue it right on this fluff, you know, because it's just not going to stick real well. So I'm going to see. Got all this messy moss everywhere. Let me slide that out of the way, because it keeps sticking to my hat every time I lay it down. All right, this is going to be our centerpiece. So let me go ahead and put this little hanger on here. And then I can kind of judge. You see how I can slide it down in? Whew, let me slide it over this way. This is crazy. It's a big old piece, you guys. Slide it down in that little clothespin. And then I think I'm going to glue it onto the back of my hat, just right there. I kind of want it hanging at an angle, though. I kind of like that. I like it at an angle. So let me look. It's going to go right about right there. It's almost, the glue piece is going to go almost right underneath. Almost right underneath where this little clump of little decoration is on this hat. So let me put some glue on here. Now the hat looks like it would be heavy, but it's really not. It's not heavy hardly at all. Okay, so I'm gonna take this and yep, that's gonna work. That is hot. I do not want to burn my hand again on that. I'm just making sure that that touches the back of that hat really good, because it needs to be stuck. It needs to be stuck really good. Okay. Thank you, Miss Elsie. I'm loving it, Miss Amy. Oh, I'm so glad. Okay. This was a big project. Okay, I'm gonna let that cool for just a second, and then I will hold it up so you guys can kind of get a good look at it. Hopefully. Let me get my camera back up on you guys. So we'll be able to see it a little bit better. Now, I still, like I said, I need to fuss with this banner a little bit. I really am not kind of happy with the way it's looking. I need, probably, what I could do is take some of this twine. That's what I need to do. I can take this twine and just tie a little piece and kind of tie it into that greenery. That's what I'll do. Can you guys even see what I'm doing? Let me slide it over. Let me slide it over without knocking everything off my table. Okay, I've just taken a little piece of twine on the end of my banner, and I'm tying it around a piece of this greenery just to hold it in place. This banner is not heavy, so just doing that. And I can even leave those little twine pieces dangle. I think those are kind of cute. And this little pine cone piece that I have there, like that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's cute. All right, now I don't have to have the whole word Christmas looking perfectly straight. I'm okay, because you'll get the gist of what it looks like. Okay. All right. I've got stuff sticking to me everywhere. All right, I think we might be dry enough now. We might be able to pick it up. We might be able to pick it up and see what we got going on. Let's see. Now that middle little candle, let's put a little riser, something to rise it, you know, to raise it up a little. I didn't think about that, but I could definitely do that. Put a little block under it and raise it up, because it's not, the little block's probably not going to show, even if we do. Oh, this is big, you guys. Now, it's not flush against the wall right now, but let me hold on to it right here. When it is flush against the wall, hold on, and it'll hang straight without it being at an angle, okay? Is that not cute? Oh, I'm trying to get you the full angle here. Now that little candle right there is hidden by my little banner. I need to pull that little banner piece out. But I will get this hung on the wall. I get this hung on the wall, and then show you what it's going to look like on the wall. But I think what I'm going to do, I have this piece of Barnwood has, that one just fell off, has some holes right here. So probably what I'm going to do is use, probably going to use those to attach it to the wall, honestly, with some screws. Because it can be pretty heavy. This wooden piece is heavy, you know, and I do not want it to fall. So I need it to be good and secure. I'm trying to lay this down without breaking it all off. I knocked this one off already. Let me glue this back on. My Barnwood is still a little bit damp. Also from where I applied the coffee grounds to it. So I kind of rushed it along a little bit. So let that wood dry really good before you start gluing things on. So there we go. Let that dry and then hook that on. We've got stuff all over the table that's sticking to it. Okay, there we go. I'm not gonna pull on that real hard right now, but I think you get the idea. So now I just need to take a picture. Need to take a picture of it hanging on the wall. Where can you get stamps like that? I cannot find the larger look. I would go to Amazon first and look there. I don't know if IOD has them. I'm sure they probably do. They probably have a standard alphabet stamp set that you could probably get. Now, they can be pricey, okay? So, you know, depending on how often you think you might want to use them, you may just choose to have a cheaper option, okay? Or if you want to get really creative, you could probably print something like this on a piece of muslin using your home printer, okay? We have printed on muslin material before. If you have a font that you like, you could probably do the same thing. Thank you so much, Kimberly. Thank you. It's a huge piece, but it was easy to put together. It just takes, you need the space. You need a good table space to do it. Thank you, Miss Diana. How did you get the hat to stay crinkled? Roxanne, when I painted this with the coffee grunge and acrylic paint, okay? And then what I did is I let it dry. And I shaped it the way I wanted it to stay first. I twisted it and I crinkled it. Gave it the good crinkle look. Let me pull it off here so you guys can see it. I twisted it and crinkled it and got it the way I wanted it. And then I just laid it flat right here on my crafting table and let it air dry. And once you do that, it will stay that way because that coffee grunge kind of gives it, it's not like a stiffener, but at the same time, it kind of is. It's sort of like when you bake fabric, it kind of toughens it up a little bit, and it helps it keep its shape. I thought I would have to put some wire in it or hot glue, some little creases and crevices, but no. That's strictly just letting it air dry after you apply the coffee grunge and the paint. Okay, so it's super easy to do. Let me see. I did some printing on muslin yesterday, and absolutely. Oh, good, Deborah. Yes. So I think you could probably do that. If you don't have the stamps, you could probably print you a little banner using, a font that you have on your computer and print it off. I mean, it's not anything super hard to do. Thank you, Miss Roxanne. Thank you, Miss Paulette. Oh, y'all are so sweet. I'm so happy that y'all all were here today. Listen, I'm cutting off a little bit early because I've actually taken it 2 time slots today in the Craft on the Clock group. So our next creator is going to be live at 4:30. Okay, 4:30, so that's about 20 minutes. If you are new to my page today, please take a second and follow if you want to see more. I will be back again Wednesday morning. Whew, coffee grunge. I don't know what we're going to do yet. I do have another giant project, actually several giant projects. I don't know if we'll start on one of those or if we'll do something a little simple or more simple rather on Wednesday, but we'll see. Stay tuned. It's Wednesday morning. I'm not sure on the time. I want to say maybe 9:45. Not for sure. Don't quote me. But you all stick around on Saturday, all day long on Saturday, the Vintage and Thrifted Marathon, and I will be live 10 or 10:30 on Saturday morning. But we have presenters all day long, starting at 7 a.m. all the way to 11 p.m. So it's going to be an amazing event. And if you want to watch that, you'll need to go over. We will be broadcasting it over into the Craft on the Clock group, but it will be specially broadcasted over into the All Things Vintage and Thrifted group, okay? And most of you are probably already part of that group anyway. So, but if not, check it out. I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much. I'm glad you loved it, Joe Helen. I'm so glad. Thank you, Miss Brenda. Thank you, Brandy, from Nova Scotia, Miss Ruth. Awesome. You love it? I'm so glad. It's just earthy and natural, something a little out of the ordinary. Just something different. We used gift bags. We used a Dollar Tree Dust Mop pad. We've used some potpourri. We've used acrylic paint. We've used coffee. We've used coffee grunge. Lots of goodies on here, but I think it all tied together so pretty. So pretty. I love it, and I hope you guys did too. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye, y'all.